Hi friends, thanks for joining me for another tutorial in Melinda's Rubber Room. I'm Melinda Pierce and I'm Independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm here today to show you how to make this fun fold card. So this was a card that I did during one of my Zoom classes on Wednesdays, and I followed those up with a video for anybody who missed the actual Zoom session. These are free Zoom sessions that you can join. I provide all of the instructions as far as the cutting instructions ahead of time, and then we build the card together during the Zoom session. If you'd like more information about those classes or the free Zoom sessions, feel free to join me over at Melinda's Rubber Room. I'll provide all the information there for my upcoming class. Again, those usually meet Wednesdays from 10 a.m. to noon, and you're welcome to join us. Okay, so again, this is the card that I'm going to be showing you, and I'll get right to it. So we're going to start, I'm going to first start by showing you how to make this front part of the card. So this is using the seasonal label dies, and these are actually being retired, so make sure you check these out online. They do, you can also get the seasonal, forget what the stamp set's called, but it's a great Christmas set that coordinates with the dies as well. So make sure you check that out again on my online store at melindapierce.stampinup.net. What I'm going to do is take these little pieces, and these come in really handy because you can use these on pretty much any die to create little slits. So I'm going to put those into place, and I'm just going to use some washi tape to hold that into place. And then I'm going to run it through my cut and emboss machine. So I'll be right back with that. Okay, so now you can see how that cut out those little slits for the ribbon. All right, so now that we have that prepared, I'm going to go ahead and start putting the card together. And I'm using Mossy Meadow cardstock, and this is one of the Designer Series paper that is retiring, so make sure you check that out on my online store and pick that up before it's gone for good. It's really got some nice Designer Series paper in that pack, and of course everything coordinates so nicely. So that's going to go on the front of my card, just like so. And then I'm going to open my card up and glue. Okay, so I need to attach the mats to the inside of my paper first. And these mats measure 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. So you'll have two pieces that measure that size. Actually, you need a total of 4 because we're going to be cutting 2 pieces down. Like that. And then we're going to take our other 2 pieces and we're going to make tick marks. Okay, so I'm going to take my cardstock and measure 2 inches down and make a little tick mark. And then I'm going to take another piece and I'm going to do the opposite side of that card and make the tick mark. So I'm going to turn it this way, measure 2 inches, and make a little tick mark. Okay, so you should have your 2 pieces of paper with tick marks on either side. Then we're going to cut from that opposite corner down to that tick mark. And this is creating the pocket for the card. Like so. And like so. So Now you should have those two pieces. Move that aside. Then we're going to go ahead and adhere those two pieces onto the inside of my card. So I don't want my tick marks to show, so I'm actually going to turn these over this way instead of trying to erase those tick marks. That works just fine. And I'll go ahead and glue that into place. Now when you're gluing this, you want to just glue these three sides. Make sure you leave this diagonal part open. Same thing with this side. Okay, now we're going to bring in our designer series paper, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to measure 2 inches. Make a tick mark. And cut that on a diagonal. Because this designer series paper is just a little bit smaller than the cardstock that I cut, it will still give me a little bit of a margin around those corners. So I'm going to go ahead and lay these into place. So this one you can put the glue on these diagonals because that's just going to glue onto that angle that we already put down that is already open. So I'm putting this so that the paper is all the way down to the bottom, and then this piece that we cut off is going to go right up here at the top. So that's going to snug up next to that that opening. So you'll still be able to get your little note inside of it. So I'm just going to put this up, trying to keep my margins the same. So there you have your little opening. That's going to have a little card that goes in there. I'll show you real quick how that goes. It'll go in like that. Okay. So that designer series paper that we cut is 5 1/4 by 4. You have 2 of those, and you have your 2 mats that are 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. I'm sorry, you have 4 of those. Okay, so let me take my other piece of designer series paper. And I want to make sure that I'm cutting the opposite corner at the opposite side so that my angle is going correct. So this one I want to measure 2 inches from this side. Make my little tick mark. And then cut from this angle down. Make sure you refer back to the base of your card to make sure you have your angles going the right direction. Just like so. Bring my card back in and do the same with this side. Getting glue all over the place this morning. Again, matching up that bottom with the cardstock. I'm just leaving a little bit of border on the sides. And then taking my leftover triangle piece that I cut off. Attaching that right up to the top. Just like so. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and put my little tags together. You can either stamp on these or leave them blank. I'm choosing to leave mine blank so I can use them as little notes to write in the card. The card itself doesn't have a whole lot of space to write on, so that's where these come in handy. The card that I'm making is a Get Well card. So if you wanted to do that, you could also take little tea bags and put them in these little slots, or you can use them to put gift cards in as well. So lots of different options for this card. You can also put little pictures in here. I know somebody who did that. So that was a fun idea too. Just going to slide those in like that. So that is the inside of our card, and then we have our little pop-out function. So we have a piece of cardstock that measures, measures 8 inches by 1 3/4, and it's scored at 2, 4, and 6. And we're just going to alternate valley folds with mountain folds, just like so. And then we're going to glue that on the card, just like that. And what I like to do is just kind of fold the card up to make sure that everything is going to be hidden inside. So I can see that everything is going to work out just fine by doing it that way. So I'm going to go ahead and take my glue and put it on one of these edges. Just glue that down onto my Designer Series paper. I'm putting this about halfway between my 2-inch mark and the bottom of my card. And I'm lining it up with that Designer Series paper on the edge. And then I can go ahead and take this and fold it. Put some more glue there. Take your card and fold it up. That way it's going to land exactly where it should onto that little tab. Again, make sure that's glued down nice and tight. That does take a lot of stress on the card, so you want to make sure it has some good adhesion on there. And that's how the card is going to open. And then we just have to decorate it. So I have some little squares. So I have 2 Designer Series paper squares that measure, these measure 1 3/4 by 1 1/2. And this again is the same Designer Series paper as what I used on the front, but I'm going to use the opposite side just to mix up some of those designs. It's one of the things that's nice about Stampin' Up! Paper is everything coordinates in the pack, so it's really fun to mix and match the designs. You could certainly add these tags before you put the mechanism on the card. That might be a little bit easier, but this works fine too. And then I have 2 pieces of white cardstock that measure the same. Those measure 1 3/4 by 1 1/2. And I'm just going to stamp a couple of greetings on those. So this one says, "Sending well wishes your way." And then this one says, "I'm here for you." And bring this back in and put that on the mechanism. Just like that. Here's the completed inside of the card. So now all we have to do is the outside. And I am going to take the piece that I showed how to cut out earlier, and I'm going to stamp "Wishing you a speedy recovery." Okay, and then I'm going to take some ribbon and just weave this from the front of the card to the back, from the back to the front. And I'm going to put that on the front of my card. I'm going to go ahead and put some glue on there just to keep everything in place. And I'm going to tape the ribbon to the back of my tag as well. And that gets wrapped around and tied. Used way too much ribbon on that. I'm sure I'll find a use for that extra that I cut off. Okay, I'm just going to make sure my tag is nice and straight. And then we'll just tie this into a little knot. Not going to fuss with the bow right now. So there you have the finished card. And if you want to, you can add some extra decorations to the front of the card. Like I did here, you can cut out an extra flower and stick that on. That would look really nice. Or you take some embellishments and just embellish that. Okay, so that is my completed card. Again, that was a Wednesday Zoom class that we did. It would be great if you could join us for my Zoom classes on Wednesdays from 10 a.m. to noon Pacific time. If you'd like to purchase anything, feel free to join my, go over to my online store at melindapierce.stampinup.net. You will find all of the items that are on sale right now and all of the items that are going to be retiring. So make sure you check that out. Don't want you to miss out on any of the great deals or any of the gorgeous products that won't be available after when they're sold out. All right, until next time, have a great day, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.